right, is everybody ready? Hello? Am I hearing a weird echo? Is one of the TVs on? Just sounds like there's an echo, more than usual.
And Chair Sabatier, there is an audible echo in Zoom.
Hello, hello? That's much better. Perfect, thank you. Is that better, Matthew?
Yes, it seemed to be fully resolved. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you very much. All right, good morning, everybody. Today is March 26, 2024, and we will go ahead and call this meeting to order, regular meeting for the Lake County Board of Supervisors. We're going to begin with a moment of silence, and before I start mine, I'm going to ask if any other board member has a moment of silence. And so I have one right here in front of me, and this is for Lauralee Ivory, who worked with our social services department, who unfortunately passed away just this past weekend. Lauralee had a remarkable career with the County of Lake since her hiring as an eligibility worker in July 2015. Her 5 promotions during her tenure signify her exceptional dedication, hard work, and skills. Her promotion to social worker in 2017 marked a significant transition in her career path with a more direct focus on social work. Her subsequent promotion to social worker 3 in 2021 underscores her continued growth and proficiency within the field of social services. This progression highlights both her commitment to her profession and her dedication to serving the people of Lake County. Lauralee's career is a testament to her unwavering passion for social services and her steadfast commitment to making a positive impact on the community she served. And we are so thankful to have had Lori as part of our team here in Lake County. And if we could please rise and hold her family and friends in our hearts, and if there's
Well,
more
yeah, I had just another one. Everyone that's being affected, that's been injured or is out searching for the bridge collapse in Baltimore this morning.
Thank you. Supervisor Simon, would you please lead us in the pledge?
Yes. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on in our agenda, are there any extra items that were not posted on this agenda?
No, there are not.
And nothing from board members as well. So we shall move on to our consent agenda. I do have 3 items that will be pulled for further discussion. Items 5.2, 5.5, and 5.6. Are there any other items the board wishes to pull? And seeing none, let's go ahead and open up for the public. If you have any items you wish to pull, please come on up to the microphone and let us know, or if you're on Zoom, please use the raise hand function. It's so good to see so many people in the room. So no hands anywhere, and I'll bring it back to the board for action.
Move to approve the consent agenda with the exception of items 5.2, 5.5, and 5.6.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And we are at 9:04 a.m. Let's go ahead and move on to public input, our 9:02 a.m. item. If you have any public input that you wish to speak and express to the Board of Supervisors for something that is not on our agenda today, please come on up to the microphone and you will have 3 minutes. I see no one in the chamber. I do see a hand in Zoom. If we can get Aaron M., please, you have 3 minutes.
Hello, board. Thank you. I just wanted to quickly request, I think this is the forum for it, but
An extension to the equity grant, the cannabis equity grant. The deadline was last Friday. And I've emailed Casey Moreno for this request as well, but she is out until April 1st, so I'm not sure if it will go through. But I would like to request an extension. There's $800,000 this round. The link did not seem to work up until Friday, and the incorrect deadline was listed on the website. So I think it's really important for the board, especially since we don't want to see that $800,000 get returned to the state. So I'll keep everyone apprised if I receive an email, but I'm not sure what the next. It's just a request for an extra deadline. Last year's deadline was in May, so I don't see why this one couldn't be extended. Thank you so much.
Appreciate your comment. Thank you very much.
It's Aaron McCarrick.
Aaron McCarrick, yes.
Oh yeah, in Clear Lake. Thank you.
Thank you. And I see no further hands up in Zoom and no one in the room charging to the microphone, so we will go ahead and close public comment and move on to our 9:03 a.m. item 6.2, Pet of the Week. And we have Officer Kopis.
Hi, my name is Officer Kopis with Lake County Animal Care Control. Today I have brought a 1-year-old lab mix, maybe mixed with terrier. She came to us as a stray. She's been really, really sweet with us. We named her Queenie, and she's been a little shy with people at first, but she's warming up pretty quick this morning. She's trying to greet everybody walking in the door right now, and she'd be good in any home. She'll warm up super quick in the right home with the right people. She did really well with the kitten first thing this morning, and she'd be super sweet. She loves toys, anything squeaks. She likes water. She'll probably love to go swimming this summer. She's just an all-around good dog. If you'd like to see her or any of our other adoptable pets, they're at 4949 Hellbrush Drive in Lakeport behind the county jail. And our phone number for any kind of questions or concerns, you can always call us at 707-263-0278. And our last week's dog, Gunner, he got adopted and he will be going home today as well.
Well, we hope the same for Queenie, and with the amount of people in this room, absolutely great behavior.
Yes, yeah, she's doing really, really well.
Especially for a 1-year-old.
Yeah, and very, very timid at first too, but she's warming up pretty good.
Love it. Thank you so much, Officer Kopis.
Thank you, guys.
And we're going to move on to our 9:05 a.m. item 6.3. We're going to be sitting as the Lake County Housing Commission. We're going to do a little musical chairs here for a second. And if Commissioner Figueroa could come up, please. I'll go ahead and read the item. Consideration of the Lake County Housing Commission Housing Choice Voucher Program Administrative Plan for 2024 and 5-year plan for 24 to 29, and signing of HUD forms HUD 50077-CR, HUD 50077-SL, and HUD 5075-5Y. I think it's a 5Y. And let's go ahead and start with Ms. Farraco.
Good morning, Board. My name is Lisa Farraco. I'm the Program Manager for Housing at the Department of Social Services, the agency that oversees the Public Housing Authority for Lake County. I'm joined by Teresa Wold, our Housing Program Coordinator.
Good morning.
Today, we are seeking approval from the Board of Housing Commissioners for the 2024 Administrative Plan and the 24 through 29 5-year plan. And I'm just going to say admin plan moving forward, because I've got to say it a lot. The admin plan is the policy and procedure manual for the housing programs we oversee. The 5-year plan details our goals for the next 5 years. Each year, the admin plan is updated with revisions specified by HUD, plus any changes needed at the local level. This year, we did a full revision of the admin plan due to the extensive programmatic and procedural updates required by the Housing Opportunity Through Modernization Act, or HOPMA. Every year, we follow the same process. We properly notice and then hold a public hearing to go over any proposed changes. Prior to the public hearing, we have a 45-day public comment period. The proposed plans are posted and available for any member of the public to read and provide comments or recommendations. This year, the hearing was held on February 7th. Attendees included a member of the Resident Advisory Board, a member of the public, and Housing Commission staff. During the meeting, staff gave a presentation detailing the proposed changes for the admin plan and the new 5-year plan. We discussed the public comments that we received and any proposed changes to the admin plan. We have implemented one of the proposed changes from our public comment. No public comment was received regarding the 5-year plan, so it was approved to be submitted to your board and to HUD as written. Along with this presentation of our plans, the PHA is requesting that the chair of the Board of Housing Commissioners sign our annual Civil Rights Certification form. This form is basically a statement verifying we will perform our duties as required by HUD. We also have the certification by state or local official of PHA plan's consistency with the consolidated plan form and the 5-year PHA plan form to be signed as required with submission for the 5-year plan to HUD. Included in the packet submitted to your board was an overview of the public comment we received regarding the annual admin plan, if you'd like to discuss it. If any of the board members have questions, Teresa and I are happy to answer them.
Thank you very much for presenting this item. Are there any questions or comments from commissioners? Seeing none, let's open it up for the public. Any questions or comments? I'll bring it back to the board.
Move to approve the Lake County Housing Commission Housing Choice Voucher Program Administrative Plan for 2024 and the 5-year plan for 2024 through 2029, and sign HUD Forms H50077CR, 50077SL, and 5075-5Y.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, board.
We're going to move on to our presentation, our 9:07 a.m. item, 6.4, presentation of proclamation designating the month of March 2024 as Women's History Month in Lake County, and Supervisor Pyska will read that.
I'd like to invite all the women up. Everyone that's here, come on up.
Get up there, Joe.
Susan and Johanna. Everybody. Everybody.
Grab her. Yeah. Make her get up there. She's just gonna stand up.
Anywhere you want. Up, as long as you're up on this side of the seats.
They could come over this way too.
Come on up. There's
I think
plenty
we
of
can
room
get
up.
everybody
There
up
really
there.
All
is.
the way through.
Come on up.
All the way across. Yep, go ahead.
Right.
We got lots more room.
You did a great job filling the house today.
Hey, Katie.
What are you doing? Yes, I got it. Yeah, I'll pass it down.
Come on, there's still room. There's still room. Come on up. Come on. Thank you. We can make another row. So I know some of you are here for, well, there's a lot of reasons you're here today. The point is you're here today. And I want all of us to be up here. We can all be recognized and celebrate. This is our month. Okay. So thank you all for being here. The Board of Supervisors, County of Lake, State of California proclamation designating the month of March 2024 as Women's History Month in Lake County. Whereas American women of every race, class, and ethnic background have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of our nation in countless recorded and unrecorded ways. Whereas American women have played and continue to play critical economic, cultural, and social roles in every sphere of the life of the nation by constituting a significant portion of the labor force working inside and outside the home. And whereas American women have played a unique role throughout the history of the nation by providing the majority of the women of the volunteer labor force of the nation. And whereas American women were particularly important in the establishment of early charitable, philanthropic, and cultural institutions in our nation. And whereas American women of every race, class, and ethnic background served as early leaders in the forefront of every major progressive social change movement. And whereas American women have served our country courageously in the military, and whereas American women have been leaders not only in securing their own right of suffrage and equal opportunity, but also in the abolitionist movement, the emancipation movement, and the industrial labor movement, the civil rights movement, and other movements, especially the peace movement, which create a more fair and just society for all. And whereas, despite these contributions, the role of American women in history has been consistently overlooked and undervalued in the literature, teaching, and study of American history. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of Supervisors, this County of Lake does hereby designate March 2024 as Women's History Month in Lake County, passed and adopted this 26th day of March. So you are the leaders, the volunteers, the workers, the engines. You are the people, the women of our county that keep moving us forward. And we still have a way to go for equal representation, although we're killing it in this room today. But I want to thank you. I want to thank you all for everything that you do, because your representation matters. Your piece in the process and all of the work that we do collectively truly matters. So thank you so much for being here today. And I want to see if anyone wants the microphone. Somebody. We have too many people up here. All right, Jillian, come here.
I'm going to say something.
Yes, you
Well, thank you so much for doing this and for really giving us hope that we come from this long line of really strong women behind us. I decided today I'm going to call them our foremothers. And it gives us a lot of perspective on how much they were able to accomplish and courage for us to continue with a lot of battles that carry on. I have to say today that I saw the Supreme Court in a very important argument. 3 women were arguing this important case. So that was sort of a wonderful day for us. So thank you, Jessica, for doing this.
So it's just one of the things that I always try to keep in mind is that we have different phases in our responsibility to keep these movements going. So we, as children, we're inspired by the leaders and mentors that we look up to. And then in this phase of our life, we have a lot of phases represented up here, but we're doing the work that we've been inspired to do. And then older in life, we have to pick up the responsibility to mentor and inspire the younger generations. So this cycle for all of us never stops. So we're going to keep inspiring those children and those girls and those entering college right now and entering the workforce. That is how we're going to keep this work moving forward. So thank you all for being here. And I'm going to, one more time, see if anyone wants a microphone. Anyone? Okay.
And please stay up here for a very large picture. The photographer is in the back.
Yeah, the woman, yeah, right there. No more. All right, I'm make sure we have everybody. Thanks so much.
That was a good one, Sam.
Who did?
Katie.
Is she from?
She's actually from
Oh, okay, because Terry, or Sherry said she wasn't gonna make it. I invited her. She says she's out of state, but she would,
She's always doing lending stuff. Lending, they have lending corporations.
I hope Carolyn was in the picture.
I know.
So we're going to move on to item 6.5, or 9:15 a.m. item. Before we start the presentation, I'm going to make a quick request. Please stay throughout the whole presentation so we can make sure and thank all of our staff and not just slowly trickle out. I think we all need to hear the applause from all departments. We all work together. We're all part of the public service that we provide to our community. So I just want to make sure that we all stay in the room and listen to the presentation. So please do so if you can. Presentation of the semi-annual Employee Service Awards for the County of Lake to recognize years of service. And looking at Pam Sam, there you are.
Thank you.
If you want to bring the microphone up to you, please.
As Supervisor Sabatier said, we celebrate twice a year our employees, and we come together to say thank you for your hard work. We start by celebrating the 5 years and then go in 5-year increments. We'll call each department head or designee up to celebrate their employees. Thank you. So first we have that.
That's fine. Good morning, everybody. This morning, I have the pleasure of introducing Carolyn Purdy for her 10-year recognition.
Next, we have the Ag Commissioner, Catherine.
I'll leave this here.
Well, good morning. This morning I have the pleasure to acknowledge Avella Gayton for 5 years of service as our administrative assistant.
So I'll be presenting the award for air quality, Elizabeth Knight, 20 years.
Susan's got a 5-year.
Next, we have Genevieve with the Auditor Controller. Wait a minute, I saw her. Oopsie.
Thank you. I'm proud to recognize Christopher Allen for 5 years of service at Lake County.
Next up, we have Behavioral Health.
Okay.
Okay, so first we have Jenna Lewis for 5 years. We also have Danielle McAtee with 5 years.
Anna Perez, peer support specialist for 5 years. I don't see her in the room, but Danielle Woodford, 5 years. Summer Trongo, 10 years. And Julia Gray for 20 years.
There you go. Congratulations.
Next up, we have Child Support Services, Cindy Van Leeuwen.
Good morning. Today I am proud to announce service awards. We're going to start with Paula Cruz for 10 years of service. Thank you, Paula. Next, we're going to celebrate Kelly Esser with 10 years of service. Thank you, Kelly. Got it. Next, we have Jamie Holt with 10 years of service. Thank you, Jamie. And last, we have Ken Roush, a child support attorney with 15 years of service. Ken couldn't be here today, but congratulations, Ken.
Next up, we have Community Development, Maria Turner.
Thank you. I have 3 fivers today. Nick Reed is our building inspector senior who couldn't be here today. But one thing I just wanted to share about Nick is that he goes from certification to certification, and he's always growing and developing his skills. He just passed residential plumbing, and he's now getting ready for residential electrical. So we really appreciate him. Our next one, Marcus Beltramo, our code enforcement manager. In the time Marcus has been with us, he's taken a team of young officers, and now they're all certified. They're a unified team they face difficult situations every day, and they do it with a lot of heart. So this is a testament to Marcus's management. And then lastly, we have Ryan Wengberg. He is the newest addition to our code enforcement team, and his enthusiasm to learn and take on new skills, including drones, has just been like this invigorating sort of breeze through the code enforcement team, inspiring everybody. Thank you.
Next up, we have District Attorney Susan Cronus.
Well, I'm really happy to recognize Rebecca Pippin. So if you would come up, she is an amazing office assistant. She has taken on so much over the years. Thank you so much for your work. And I have Doris Langford for 15 years. Doris is I could not do my job without her. She saves my butt every single day, and even weekends. So thank you so much.
Next up, we have elections. Maria Valdez. Oh, yes. Okay, come on.
Good morning. I think we're going to go through all the alphabet before we, oh, there we are. Up, back. Good morning. Maria Valadez would like to congratulate Yesenia Lopez for 5 years with the County of Lake, 2.5 years with the Registrar of Voters, and previously with the library. Sorry, Christopher, but thank you to us and thank you to the county for having such a great worker. She's certified election administrator now. So.
Next, I'd like to invite up Health Services, Anthony Omtown. Okay.
Good morning. We have 6 wonderful staff members to celebrate this morning. First one is Donna Bogan with 5 years of service. Next up is Craig Weatherby with 10 years of service. I gotta work on handshake. We'll do it after. Next up, Dolores Trimper with 10 years of service. I don't believe she's. And then Saul Sanabria with 10 years of county service. Next up is Amanda Frizzell with 15 years of county service. Let's shake the hand first. There we go. Getting the hang of this. And last but not least, Kelly Hanlon with 15 years of service.
Next up is me. Today I'd like to celebrate Brittany Walker with 10 years. She started out as a juvenile correction officer in 2013, and we were lucky enough to nab her in 2015 when she came to Human Resources. She is an asset to our team, a joy to have. Her laugh is infectious. Her sense of humor keeps us laughing all day long, but social services and child support are lucky to have her as their strategic partner. Thank you, Brittany. Next up, we have probation.
Thank you. And I'm apologizing for Chief Monfran's not being available today. So first up, we have Jeffrey Morin, legal assistant, 5 years. I remember Jeff sitting all by himself in COVID days. It was very sad, but he represented the department very well. I did a great job. And he's still doing a great job, of course. Next we have, where am I? Oh, it's terrible to get old. Claudia Costa, she's not here today because she is busy changing lives, 15 years. Also, Kevin Lewis, 15 years. He is not able to be here today. And Kelly Moore, also not here today, changing lives, 20 years.
Thank you. Next up, we have Public Services, Lars Ewan. Did you take my...
Well, mine is going to be really quick. 2 employees, Louis Sims and Katie Galvani. I'll say neither of them who wanted to be here. They appreciate it. They just do not want to be in front of everyone, but I want to thank them for their 10 years of service. Louis has promoted up through Parks. He's an area supervisor now, and Katie is our deputy director for finance and admin, doing amazing work behind scenes, and I can't thank them enough. But I will take their awards and hand them back to them.
Public Works, Scott DeLeon.
All right, good morning. Happy and proud to be here. I think this individual may have started with the county when she was 7. Sylvia Valadez, where are you, Sylvia? Come on up here so I can embarrass you more. Sylvia started with special districts in 2003. We were very fortunate to get her to come over to Public Works in 2012, August of 2012. She started off as a accounting technician, and she is our Public Works analyst, and probably handles 2 of the most challenging budget units in our department because of the ever-changing costs, and she manages our fleet and all of our heavy equipment for the road department. So incredible amount of responsibility, and she does a wonderful job. So 20 years, congratulations.
Next up, we have the Sheriff's Department, Joe Dutra.
My pleasure to recognize Deputy Colin Coddington for 5 years of service. He won't be very happy about this, but it's also his birthday today.
Ah, happy birthday.
Next up, we have Social Services, Crystal Markentan.
Good morning. It's a little short. There we go. I would like to gratefully acknowledge the following staff. Gracia Albin, Eligibility Specialist 2, 5 years. Gracia here? Karen Coral, Social Worker 3, 5 years. Marisha Davi, Office Assistant 3, 5 years. And let's see, I lost my place. Nicole Johnson, Eligibility Specialist 3. And Rebecca Reynolds, Accounting Technician Senior. Troy Sherman, Social Worker 3, CPS, Child Welfare. 5 years. Tony Thomas, Social Services Aide Senior, 5 years. Emily Thornton, Office Assistant 3, 5 years. Thank you. And Jennifer Ferrario, Eligibility Specialist 3, 10 years. Melinda Gomes, Fiscal Support Supervisor, 10 years. Carrie Holt, I know I saw her, Staff Services Manager, 10 years. Robin Moritz, Social Worker 3, Child Welfare, 10 years. Janine Smith, Eligibility Specialist 3, 10 years. Thomas Swanson, Social Worker Supervisor 1, 10 years. Thank you so much. Teresa Fuentes, Supervising Staff Analyst, 15 years. And Kathy Rinaldi, Eligibility Specialist Supervisor, also 15 years. Teresa Schoen, Program Manager for Employment Services, 15 years. And finally, Jean Bowers, Eligibility Specialist Supervisor, 30 years. And that's it. Thank you all.
Next, we have Scott Harder, Special Districts.
Good morning. Thank you. Happy to be here and recognize Donald Beets, our utility worker senior for 5 years of service. He's our lead worker down in South.
Treasurer Tax, Patrick Sullivan.
All right, I would like to honor Rich Mathias, our collection supervisor, and the reason that division runs smoothly every day. So come on up.
Next, we have Supervisor Sabatier to honor a department head.
And then,
Yeah, he's right here.
so first off, 5 years, our county administrator, Susan Parker, who did not want to come up, but will. I'm going to bring back up one person as well, and hopefully we're not missing anybody, but Patrick Sullivan, 5 years. Thank you very much. And there is one more, Mr. Gearhart, 5 years, 20 years, Air Pollution Control Officer.
I'm back again. We'd like to honor today 2 of our supervisors. Supervisor Sabatier, 5 years. Supervisor Crandall, 5 years. I'd just like to take this time to say thank you to all of you. Everybody works so hard, and we're so proud of all of our staff. I'd like to acknowledge Cherish, who puts together this presentation, hounds you all for your pictures, and just does a delightful job helping to celebrate all of our employees.
So I just want to take a quick moment. This room is all about public service. We all play our part. It takes many, many parts to make our community safe, work efficiently, and be able to prosper and move forward. And you all play a part in this. And you are the ones doing the work. You are getting the work done. We talk about it. you get it done. And the appreciation, the commitment that you have, there are people here that are 15, 20, all the way to 30 years, and that level of commitment, not just to your career, but to our communities, is absolutely amazing and wonderful to experience and exhibit right here in our room, in our chambers. And I just want to say that you all, I wanted to keep you all in the same room because I want to make sure and do this for all of you, and I just want to give you guys a standing ovation and say thank you so much for your work. And if any other board members have any comments before? Or they're leaving. That's the commitment we were talking about.
Back to work.
So let's go ahead and take a 5-minute break, and we'll continue after that. Ready? Let's go ahead and continue. We do have an item up in 4 minutes, so I think I'm going to take up a couple of quick and easy pulled consent items. Number one is 5.2, second reading of an ordinance amending the purchasing ordinance, Article 10 of Chapter 2 of the Lake County Code to include increased purchasing limits, additional definitions, modify requirements for exemptions from competitive bidding, and additional procedures for informal and formal bidding. I pulled this item personally just because I want to be on record with my vote. I don't have any need for a conversation or argument, so we already went through that in the first reading unless other board members have something that I'm unaware of. But I just wanted to pull that for, again, getting the vote on record. Any comments or questions from board members related to this item? And seeing none, open it up for the public. Any comments or questions from the public on this item? This is 5.2. This is the purchasing ordinance revision. And I'm going to bring it back to the board for action.
There's nothing further, Chair. I move to approve the second reading of an ordinance amending the purchasing ordinance, Article 10 of Chapter 2 of the Lake County Code to include increased purchasing limits, additional definitions, modify the requirements for exemptions from competitive bidding, and additional procedures for informal and formal bidding.
Second.
Chair, if I may.
Pause the motion for 1 second.
And in addition to that motion, if the ordinance can also be offered as well with a roll call vote. Since it's
Afterwards or?
It can be done afterwards.
Okay, so let's go ahead and go through. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Motion carries. And let's go ahead and offer the ordinance.
I offer the ordinance.
Okay, Supervisor Simon?
Yes.
Supervisor Crandall?
Aye.
Supervisor Green?
Aye.
Supervisor Pyska?
Yes.
And Supervisor Sabatier?
Nay. All right, thank you very much. Let's see if we can quickly go through 5.6, the approval of the Board of Supervisors meeting minutes from March 19th, 2024. Again, I pulled this item. There was a conversation about the Canocti Gardens housing development, and in there it says no action taken. But we did provide consensus and direction to staff to meet with the City of Clear Lake and the developer, and I just wanted to put that in that item. And I apologize, but I think it's 6.3. No, 6.4. Says presentation only. If we can add direction to staff to meet for city and special districts and developer to meet. Any comments or questions regarding this?
Agree with the change.
Okay. Open it up for the public. Any comments or questions regarding this item? And bringing it back for action, if possible, with the amendment.
Move to approve the minutes of the March 19th Board of Supervisors meeting with the amendment proposed by Chair Sabatier.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And that leads us to exactly 10 a.m. So our 10 a.m. item continued from March 19th, 2024. This is a public hearing, a consideration of resolution approving an application for funding and the execution of a grant agreement and any amendments thereto from the 23-24 funding year of the State CDBG Mitigation Resilience Infrastructure Program, and be authorized the county administrative officer or designee to submit the grant application. And we have Ms. Loxton today.
Thank you. Is this on? Yeah.
Should be.
Terry Logston, Chief Climate Resiliency Officer, and as you are aware from the board packet, this was an opportunity for the County of Lake. There were several municipalities and counties that had an allocation under this housing and community development funding, and so we would like to submit a grant that would include the LG Sonic Buoy Algal Mitigation Project, which has come before your board, as well as PAVE, the Spring Valley Community Center, which is owned by special districts. You may or may not be aware that when PG&E, if there's a PSPS in the Spring Valley area, they cannot stand up a CRC, a Community Resource Center there, because the parking lot is gravel. And so this is an opportunity to do that for the community, and it can serve as a CRC. There is a culvert that is needed at OES between, I think she said the AWP and OES, but it would help alleviate flooding and runoff. I don't know if it's flooding, but just runoff. And then the Kelseyville Senior Center, which was recently purchased, would allow upgrading of the facility so that in the future it could serve as a community resilience center. So that's what we're looking at, and I'm asking for your approval to submit the grant.
Thank you very much for putting this together for us. Any comments or questions from board members? Supervisor Green?
Just, we were talking about follow the bouncing ball. So LG Sonic, I forget if that was BRC approved.
It was.
Didn't get funded.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Just for the specifics of the LG Sonic, it is as the board had requested, which was a change of the overall plan that was proposed. We eliminated the Clear Lake Oaks side, just like it was discussed. The increase is due to increases in the new estimate that we received, or the new invoice that we received from them, with increases in cost in compared to the years past, and some of those costs are also staff-related up in water resources as well.
Correct.
So just wanted to at least provide that. Everything else on there, I hope that we can get all of this funding and make all those things possible. That would be great. If there's nothing further, let's open it up for public comment. I see no hands raised in Zoom and no one rushing to the microphone, so I'll bring it back to the board for the resolution.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt a resolution approving an application for funding and the execution of a grant agreement and any amendments thereto from the 2023-2024 funding year of the state CDBG Mitigation Resilience Infrastructure Program, and B, authorize the county administrative officer or designee to submit the grant application.
Did we need to offer the resolution or a motion?
Sorry, two things. I'll offer the resolution.
Resolution has been offered.
Felt like reading.
All right, Supervisor Simon?
Yes.
Supervisor Crandall?
Aye.
Supervisor Green?
Aye.
Supervisor Pyska?
Yes.
And Supervisor Sabatier?
Aye.
And I will move to authorize the county administrative officer or designee to submit the grant application.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we have time between our next items, so let's go ahead, and I see we have behavioral health with us, so let's go ahead and go through some of those items. And if you don't mind, we'll start with our 5.5. And 5.5 is approve amendment number 1 to the agreement between County of Lake and IDEA for consulting for professional consulting services in the amount of $50,000 for fiscal year 2023-2024, and authorize the chair to sign. Welcome, Director Jones.
Good morning. Thank you. Actually, we would like to remove this and bring it back at a later date. We've identified an error.
Oh, okay. So we will go ahead and see that in a future agenda item, but let's go ahead and go to your other untimed items, and I believe we start at 7.3, consideration of agreement between County of Lake and BHC Sierra Vista Hospital Incorporated for acute inpatient psychiatric hospital services and professional services associated with acute inpatient psychiatric hospitalizations in the amount of $100,000 for fiscal year 23-24. Director Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, this, along with several other agreements, are primarily around hospitalization or very high levels of care. Typically, we would have had this agreement with BHC Sierra Vista earlier on in the fiscal year. Unfortunately, due to an oversight and having bills to pay, we're bringing it forward now. And this projection will carry us through to the end of the fiscal year for all of the hospital stays. This is my Deputy Director of Administration, Christine, and I just want to clarify with her that this, for BHC, it's for 12 to 17-year-olds where it's Medi-Cal reimbursable. Unfortunately, people outside of that age range, we pay out of realignment. We do try to limit the amount of people who go to that hospital who are not within the covered age range. I don't understand why hospitals do this. It makes no sense, but here we are. However, that being said, it's not always possible due to limited availability of beds across the state. If there's a bed, we have to put somebody there. And so it's a mix of Medi-Cal, Medicaid payment, and realignment dollars that will support this contract.
Thank you very much. Anything further? Okay. Any comments or questions from board members? So just a quick question, and I'll ask it on this one and not reiterate the same questions for the next few items. This is a reimbursable, possibly, it says on the memo, largely reimbursable through Medi-Cal. Is this parallel to some of the problems that we're having already with the reimbursement for Medi-Cal? Would this be a part of that or a different reimbursement? Because I know it's based on certain types of reimbursements.
On the North Valley contract, it will be, but not the other contracts. The hospitals themselves bill Medi-Cal. We don't bill them ourselves. The hospital does and they get reimbursed for those age groups, but the other ones we just pay out of pocket for.
So I would thank you for that, and I would also like to state that this, as well as all of the other items, were part of our projections of costs incurred through the end of the fiscal year. So we've baked that into the amount that we came and requested last week. So it isn't as if these are new things. These were all part of our projections and expenses that we knew that we had.
And I appreciate that, and that's the conversation I wanted to kind of bring up. And just kind of the history of it. Obviously, we've talked about how we already borrowed some reserves to help pay for some of the things that we're not getting reimbursed. We borrowed the money last week again to help again for the reimbursement rates that we're not receiving from the state of California. This kind of came as a surprise to me, but through an email communication, this is part of the projections that you provided. I wish it had been a part of the conversation just to alert us that these things would be coming, but it fits into what it was. But I know that I have been debating with myself whether or how I feel about this. I already debated with myself in the previous week. But I know that at this moment in time, I feel very concerned if we get another increase to our contracts. And I don't know how easy it is to control those things, because sometimes people could just walk into a door and say they're from Lake County and we have to reimburse. But how much can we continuously potentially borrow if the system is not fixing itself? And I know that we also did receive some funding last week that was not necessarily anticipated, so I'm hoping that we have unclogged the clogged pipe. But until we have reimbursed ourselves the money we've borrowed, and until we've reimbursed the reserves that we borrowed from, I just feel uncomfortable if there's future amendments that come that continuously increase the potential burden. And I'm sure that all of us are, not all of us, I'm sure that it's a uncomfortable position to be in, to not be in control of all that. But I just wanted to at least express it, and will support all these items today, just because I want to make sure we pay our bills and we try our best to provide the services that our community members need, as these are very important services. So.
Well, I don't think we are ever going to have control over this.
Well, to the extent that we have the ability to place people, which we do, most people we see, and through mobile crisis, of course, we're hoping to divert placements in acute psychiatric facilities. That's one of the main goals, and de-escalate people. However, it is unavoidable. So for those people, we can do our best to strategize around putting them in beds where it's covered and appropriate. But you're absolutely right that a Lake County Medi-Cal beneficiary could go into crisis in any county in California, and we would have to get the bill, and that does happen.
And when somebody is in the hospital, we put them into almost like a lottery system, computerized system that picks the bed and finds the next available bed for them. We kind of don't have, and the whole state of California is going with this program, so we kind of don't have a control on where our clients end up.
Yeah, and in one of the memos you mentioned that you'll be coming back with a presentation to explain this in more detail.
Yeah, the increase in use.
Right, so we'll be hearing more about that soon. But at this point, we don't have a choice. This is what we have to do.
And I think what we heard is that there are times opportunities to look at other avenues or look at other opportunities. And so I just wanted to express that. But at this point, I'm done. Are there any other comments or questions regarding this item? Open it up for the public. Any questions or comments? Bringing it back.
No further, I move to approve the agreement between the County of Lake and BHC Sierra Vista Hospital, Inc. for acute inpatient psychiatric hospital services and professional services associated with acute inpatient psychiatric hospitalizations in the amount of $100,000 for fiscal year 2023-24, and authorize the board chair to sign.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 7.4, consideration of amendment number 2 to the agreement between County of Lake and North Valley Behavioral Health, LLC for acute inpatient psychiatric hospital services and professional services associated with acute inpatient psychiatric hospitalization in the amount of $750,000 for fiscal year 23-24. Director Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is different from all the others in that it is fully Medi-Cal reimbursable. North Valley is a psychiatric health facility with a reimbursement rate. This is one that was not even in our electronic health record as a vendor, and so we've been working on getting them in the system so that we can effectively bill. So we will see monies back spent, and it's unfortunately increasing. We are seeing a dramatic increase in our various types of conservatorships, including Murphy's, and also folks who are have some challenges that make it difficult to find a facility that will accept them. And North Valley happens to be a facility that takes some very challenging folks, and it's expensive because of that.
Thank you for that. Any comments or questions? Open it up for the public. Any comments or questions regarding this amendment? And seeing none, bringing it back for action.
I move that we approve amendment number 2 to the agreement between the County of Lake and North Valley Behavioral Health, LLC for acute inpatient psychiatric hospital services and professional services associated with acute inpatient psychiatric hospitalization in the amount of $1,350,000 for fiscal year 23-24.
Supervisor Pyska, the motion may also add and authorize the board chair to sign.
And authorize the board chair to sign.
Second.
Just a quick question before I ask for a vote. I recognize that the $1,300,000 is the appropriate, but on the header it says $750,000. Is that okay to proceed with the correct number, which is the $1 million number?
Looking at the staff memorandum, the subject line makes reference to the $1,350,000 amount.
So it's just different on the main header?
And that should be sufficient for purposes of moving forward because the staff memo is included as part of the agenda item packet and the clarification is being made here.
Okay, perfect. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item 7.5, consideration of amendment number 1 to the agreement between County of Lake and Sutter Center for Psychiatry for acute inpatient psychiatric hospital services and professional services associated with acute inpatient psychiatric hospitalizations in the amount of $225,000 for fiscal year 23-24. Director Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a mixed payer source, so this facility is Medi-Cal will pay for people who are 5 to 17, I believe. Folks outside of that age range do come out of realignment.
Thank you very much. Any comments or questions on this amendment? Seeing none, open it up for the public. Any comments or questions regarding this amendment? And seeing none, bringing it back to the board for action.
I move that we approve amendment number 1 to the agreement between the County of Lake and Sutter Center for Psychiatric for acute inpatient psychiatric hospital services and professional services associated with acute inpatient psychiatric hospitalizations in the amount of $225,000 for fiscal year 2023-24 and authorize the chair to sign.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And 7.6, consideration of amendment number 1 to the agreement between the County of Lake and Vista Pacifica Enterprises Incorporated for adult residential support services and specialty mental health services in the amount of $300,000 for fiscal year 23-24. Director Jones.
Thank you. This is, I believe Vista Pacifica is a skilled nursing facility and also houses or will take some of our more complex people with medical needs. Very difficult to find placement for those folks, hence the expense. And are these, what portion of Medi-Cal is this realignment, Chrissy? I cannot.
It's realignment.
It's realignment, so there's that.
And their Social Security pays their share.
Their room and board, yeah. So it's a mix between the client contributes their Social Security and then realignment.
Thank you very much. Any comments or questions regarding this amendment? Seeing none, open it up for public. Anyone wish to speak on this amendment? Come on up to the microphone.
Okay, I'm a citizen, Joan Moss. I also report things. So is this reimbursable?
Vista Pacifica in this item? No.
It's not reimbursable?
No, ma'am.
So you're going to pass it knowing that you won't get reimbursed?
Yes, ma'am.
And it was stated that we have realignment funds that comes from the state that helps to be able to afford these types of contracts. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but that was just stated earlier.
That's correct, Mr. Chair.
So while we aren't getting reimbursed, we're getting kind of paid up front to be able to provide those types of services.
And their share costs Social Security.
If you can speak into the microphone, please.
Oh, and their share costs of Social Security.
Okay, thank you very much. Any further questions or comments from the public?
I move that, oh,
I'll bring it back.
sorry.
Please.
Did you bring it back?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I move that we approve amendment number 1 to the agreement between the County of Lake and Vista Pacific Enterprises, Inc. for adult residential support services and specialty mental health services in the amount of $300,000 for fiscal year 2023-24 and authorize the board chair to sign.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And last, nope, 2 more. Consideration of amendment number 1 to the agreement between County of Lake and California Psychiatric Transitions for acute inpatient psychiatric hospital services, inpatient competency, restoration services, and professional services associated with acute inpatient psychiatric hospitalization in the amount of $250,000 for fiscal year 23-24. Director Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is also not reimbursable by Medi-Cal. This comes out of realignment. This is an alternative placement for people who have been determined incompetent to stand trial. The other placement is the state hospital, which we also pay for out of realignment. But we're trying to divert as much as possible from state hospital beds because there's a years-long wait list. So we're lucky enough to have a contract with California Psychiatric Transitions. And as I stated before in another item, we are seeing an increase in this population, and that's across the state.
Thank you very much. Any comments or questions? Open it up for the public. Anyone wish to speak on this item? I see none in Zoom and none in the chamber, so I'll bring it back for action.
I move that we approve amendment number 1 to the agreement between the County of Lake and California Psychiatric Transitions for acute inpatient psychiatric hospital services, inpatient competency restoration services, and professional services associated with acute inpatient psychiatric hospitalization in the amount of $250,000 for fiscal year 23-24, and authorize the chair to sign.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Now the last item, 7.8, consideration of amendment number 1 to the agreement between County of Lake and Crisis Support Services of Alameda County for after-hours crisis support services in the amount of $89,400 for fiscal year 23-24, and authorize the chair to sign. Director Jones.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is a different type of service. This service answers our phones, our regular phone line, not our crisis phone line, from 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. They take a variety of different messages. It's less expensive to have this contracted out than to employ a staff overnight to answer these types of calls. However, moving into the next fiscal year, we will not be contracting with Alameda Night Watch because we are looking at a phone tree system where we can divert some to our mobile crisis team that does have dispatching capabilities, and so we can actually take these services in-house.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that. Any comments or questions regarding this item? Let's open it up for the public. Anyone wish to speak on this amendment? No hands in Zoom and no one in the chamber. Bringing it back for action.
I move that we approve Amendment Number 1 to the agreement between the County of Lake and Crisis Support Services of Alameda County for after-hours crisis support services in the amount of $89,400 for fiscal year 23-24 and authorize the chair to sign.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you both. And we still have a little time before our 1022. Let's go ahead and take up item 7.9, consideration of appointment to the General Plan Advisory Committee. We have one position that is vacant, and that's the tribal position. We have 3 applications, and open it up for discussion.
Yeah, I was looking at this and thinking about it all weekend. I know it's for one position. I look at who's applying, and I know that Irenia is from the north side of the lake. Larry is from the Middletown, which is the south portion of the lake. And so, I feel like, and then Kyle, he plays a big role in the community at large. If there was a way to, appoint all 3, I would really like to see that, if possible.
And I think that if we did that, we'd have to bring it back as a different item to change the composition of the, but I think that can be open for discussion today, looking at county council, if that's within the range of the discussion for today.
It can be as part of the discussion for today, but only with regards to who the board would want to appoint for that specific position. So as you stated, Mr. Chair, as far as changing the composition of the committee itself, that would have to be brought back as an item for a subsequent date.
Okay, so we can discuss to see if that's a direction to staff to bring it back. Okay.
I did also speak with Maria about some of this too, and I think she might have some options.
Director Turner?
If it is helpful, at your next board meeting, there will be an item for the board to consider establishing 8 local area plan advisory committees. So that would be one for each of our planning areas. I was recommending that there be no more than 9 members should the board want to create those, and one position on each of those was also reserved for tribal representation. So if the board does create those, I call them LAPACs, then we will have around the county spots for tribal representation.
Thank you very much, Director Turner.
So with that, real quick, Maria, sorry, I should have asked this. I should have caught you sooner. So if we were to move forward with one today, the other 2 could potentially be appointed in those spots for the areas?
That would be awesome, yeah. I'd love to see all 8 positions filled with tribal representatives.
And does it?
If the board creates that.
Okay, okay. And I'm prepared to go either way, except with the, the board's.
Supervisor Pasca?
Yeah, just having the conversation yesterday about the creation of the area planning committees, I think it's good to have tribal representation there, but I think for our GPAC, I agree, and we had a conversation this morning because we were both thinking about it all weekend. These are all 3 people representing the different places that they represent will be really helpful. We run into this situation a lot where we have just one tribal seat and we have 7 tribal nations, and it's really difficult for us to choose one, or for one to speak for other regions or other areas or other nations. So I agree with this. I think we could open this up and have a richer representation at the GPAC.
Supervisor Green?
Yeah, generally in agreement with that. I need a reminder of what our current number is on the GPAC as a whole.
15.
I'm sorry.
15 positions, 14 filled currently.
If we were to add 3, it would be up to 18.
We're at add 2.
What, you said add 2?
Well, there's 3 applications, there's 1 seat open. We add 2 seats, then we
Gotcha,
can
add
have
2
all
more
3.
seats on top of that, okay.
So what would be the thinking? We would, if there's interest in expanding it to 17 and having 3 total tribal reps on GPAC, I'm certainly open for that, but we would have to give direction to staff to bring that item back rather than making an appointment today.
Right.
I think that's what we were just discussing.
And I think we can make an appointment just to fill the seat today and then open it up for more memberships if that's what we ask. That way, at least, there can be a call for a meeting if that's the case, and we can have all 15 members seated, and the following week possibly come back and expand the composition and add 2 more members.
But I
Are they
don't think
meeting
we
in the
have
near
a,
future?
I think we can just, I wouldn't mind waiting until next week and appoint all 3, but I don't know when you have
There's
your
no
first
hurry.
meeting.
Our next GPAC meeting isn't until the fall.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would think it'd be cleaner to bring it back. Thank you.
Supervisor Simon?
Obviously, appreciate the conversation, expanding that. Unless we're able to get 7, it's going to be that continual conversation. Each, independent tribal nation looks at it that way. I like what you said, EJ, about the overall, with Kyle Billy, kind of overall county issues. And then having the opportunity, I'm glad to hear about the local area, what'd you call it again? The
Advisory committees?
Anyway, the Area Plan Advisory Committee. So I'm glad to hear that, given an opportunity, especially all the way around the lake, for some other tribal nation spots, obviously, and the rest of the community to be able to be appointed on those too. So I can go either way. Appreciate the conversation, but I think if we're going to really have it, then we got to talk about 7 seats, and 2 or 3, you're still going to have that same conversation. So, like I said, willing to have the conversation, but also ready to move forward, especially since there's going to be area plan committees that we could all work to appoint in our district. So those are my thoughts.
And so, and for me, if there is an opportunity that, because what I would ideally think too is that because the Irenia is from the north and a specific area, and Larry would be from a southern part too, they might fit into these advisory committees as well. And so if we were to, you said there's 9 or 8? 8. And so that covers a vast amount. So I think we can, like you said, when it comes back, we can determine that. But I mean, with that in place, that kind of covers the areas, if that makes sense. We don't really need to worry about opening it up. We can put 1 person today, and then when that comes, appoint a tribal representative from each region, because that would cover the 7 tribes, or the areas with the tribal representative in each area. But again, I'm still open to.
But, so then would Kyle have greater representation with work with Konotai?
Well, he covers he does a lot for the county in general as a whole.
Right.
Whereas I know Larry's the vice chair for Middletown, and then Irene is the secretary treasurer for Robinson. And so you have those specific areas of coverage right there. But again, I'm glad we're having the conversation. I'm just giving the insight as to what was brought forward today about the advisory committees that has a position for each tribal area.
Anything further? So I know that we already have a large membership for the GPAC, and I know that any meeting that we all go to, the larger the membership, the more difficult it becomes to ensure that we have quorum. This has been a conversation for even the cannabis ordinance, a conversation for the EMCC, so on and so forth. And so I would definitely like to hear the ideas behind the area plan committees, because I think that would be a perfect place to ensure that there is a cross-section of that area that is represented. I know Irenia, and I anticipated to see that she was from District 3, but it shows that she's from District 5, obviously works in District 3. I was not aware of that.
Irenia?
That's what it says on the application.
No, she's from District 3.
Oh, it does say Nice. I only looked at District 5. But I also, and maybe I'm being myopic, but in looking at the membership and where those people are from, there is only one representative from District 4, and Kyle Bill being in District 4, I think, and knowing the work that he does throughout the county, that would be where I'm leading towards, is keeping the membership as is, making sure that we have a good cross-section in our area plan, which is a more drilled down of the community area, and suggesting to move forward with Kyle Bill. And opening that up for the conversation.
I agree with that.
I'm good either way. So, I mean, again, with the advisory committees coming out, that gives a specific position for each. So I'm pretty sure that the other two, Larry and Irenia, can apply in those areas, and we'll go from there when that comes forward.
Absolutely. Supervisor Green?
Yeah, and to your point, yeah, let's keep it lean. And we can always revisit it. If we do have trouble populating our area advisory committees, we'll worry about that at that point. But I like your proposal.
Okay. Let's go ahead and open it up for public comment on this item. Oh, I'm so sorry. Supervisor Simon.
Yeah. Just want to really acknowledge the conversation. I think this is the first time in the county's history we're having a conversation like this, so I want to acknowledge that, obviously, as we're taking steps forward. Also, just want to remind, everyone as representation too. I think this general plan update will be more participation from every government in the county, more than it's ever been. And I know there's an opportunity for the tribes to reach out directly to Director Turner for consultation on these general plan updates and the area plan updates, and I know most tribes are going to be doing that, but I want to acknowledge the conversation of the steps moving forward here in Lake County and its history, and as far as I know, this is probably the most important conversation we've ever had about a general plan, including every government in the county and every part, every culture and ethnic background, so it's a big step forward, so I just want to acknowledge that.
Thank you for your comment. Let's open it up for public comment regarding the appointment to the GPAC. I see none in the chamber and no hands in Zoom, and bringing it back to the board for action.
Further, I move to appoint Kyle Bill to the General Plan Advisory Committee.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And we are at our 10:30 mark, and so we will take up our item 6.7, A, consideration of update on Armory repurposing project and provide direction to staff for next steps, and B, consideration of Amendment 2 to the agreement between the County of Lake and Dewberry Architects Incorporated for architectural engineering design services. And we have Under Sheriff Bingham and Director Ewing. Welcome.
Put my seat up when I'm next to you.
I have a couple phone books over here if you need help.
Well, good morning. Lars Ewing, Public Services Director, and as you mentioned, joined by, I almost said Captain, but Under Sheriff Bingham. Presentation today is about the Armory. The memo to the board that's included with the agenda packet has a very brief background discussion, and I won't go into that other than in the last year. Really, the focus of this meeting is two things. One, a general update to present to the board the status of the project, and then the second is B. Well, actually, that's A. The second is a consideration of moving ahead. So, for some brief background, over the last year really is where the background will be, is what has happened since April of 2023 when your board approved an agreement with Dewberry Architects to start schematic design for the project. Since that time, they have completed schematic design. The schematic design package has probably 30 plus sheets, plus a lot of reference documents that go behind this. By no means am I going through all of that, but I picked a few images that I think would be helpful, and I will do my best to zoom in here, but if not, then I'll just pan down. So this isometric view just shows that they have done some work to plan out the armory. If you've been in the armory, you're familiar with this. This is the large bay, so the entrance is up here. And you can see what they've designed is a variety of offices, and we can go into, I wasn't planning on going into a level of detail, but what has occurred to get to this point is a lot of work from Dewberry to do space planning. They worked on that with Under Sheriff Bingham and his staff, along with Sheriff Howe, to identify what the needs are of his department. And not just the current needs, but the future needs, and that's probably the driving factor here. So after that work, Dewberry came up with a couple of concept options. Those options, there were two options prepared. We worked with Dewberry to come up with a kind of a hybrid of the two. And so the project actually consists of a single floor in the majority of the building, and then a mezzanine added to the bay, the mezzanine, basically a second story that would be for future use. It's not to be fully developed out in the project as it's scoped. So that project has gotten to the point where we are now. A few other images, floor plan. It's an eye chart, I understand, but the different colors reference different divisions, I guess you would say, of the sheriff's department. I'll leave it to Under Sheriff Bingham. In fact, I'll ask you if you could, maybe we can go around and talk about the different divisions here. So.
Yeah, so we, like Lars said, we worked with our staff and we talked to each of our staff and each division head as to what was necessary for them to have a consistency of operations in one location. Just kind of back up just a little bit, might sound like a little bit like a sales pitch, but I'm sure the board is aware that, we have outgrown our current facility. We've been in there almost 30 years. And we're just outgrown. We have boxes on top of boxes. We're out of room. So this started under Sheriff Martin, this project, this idea, and we've come to the time that we're at now. So working through all of our divisions, this allows us to get onto one campus. So our dispatch center, comm center, OES, corrections, and our main office are all in one location, which is going to help with ease of operations within the department. And then internally in the building, as Lars said, we've gone with a single floor, which will facilitate the sheriff's office today and in the next 5 to 10 years. And then we have that second story mezzanine, which is going to allow for a 30 to 40 year, 50-year building where we can eventually build into that second story for operations for the sheriff's office as it grows. And what you're looking at here is, if you look at the pink top left there, that's our records division and our civil division, which is obviously will be accessible to the public in our main lobby, which is in green right below that. Then off of that, we have in red is our patrol division, which would our patrol sergeants, and then our workspace for our patrol deputies. And then in the blue would be command staff, so sheriff, under sheriff, captains, lieutenants, your management staff for the sheriff's office. Your purplish area there would be all of finance. They'd be all co-located in one area. And then you come down to the green, and that would be our main floor area for coroners division, detectives division. And then further down, that would be our evidence division, all internal in the same building. Evidence storage, processing, our laboratory work, fingerprints, and so on. And if you move to the left, right there, then that would be training area, a DTAC area, gym area. And then the far end of the blue, the yellow there would be a briefing room and then a break room for all the staff to be using. That's just, we could go into further detail if any of the board members in the future would like to. More than happy to meet with you, go into further detail. That's just kind of a 10,000-foot view of the initial plan that we've worked out with Dewberry and we feel is going to work for us for the next 10 to 50 years for that building. And then, of course, the pink there, that's the second story mezzanine, which as it sits now, would be not built out. It would just be the structure for a second story, which could be utilized for training, it could be utilized for storage, it could be utilized for a lot of different things, but it's so that this is truly a 40 to 50-year building, so that when the department is obviously going to increase in size, as the county increases in size, we have room that we can then build into to expand that space, and we wouldn't be looking at having to switch buildings or build a new building in that time frame.
So with that upfront presentation, really, we're at the point with Dewberry Architects agreement. They're under contract for schematic design, which is preliminary design is a simple way to put that. The next steps would be to go through design development and then construction documents phase, and then we would be into construction. So we're to the point where we need to complete design, and it's an opportunity, number one, to update your board on where we are with the project, but number two, have a discussion about funding. If we are to proceed with design with any project, the memo used some terms about that we run the risk, or the project runs the risk of becoming obsolete. The point there is that if we design something with construction far out into the outer years, we run the risk of the designs becoming obsolete from a code perspective. Could even become obsolete from an operational perspective, though I don't anticipate that with this project because it has been designed with those outer years in mind. But in particular for code reasons. So, from 10 years ago, if we look at the code, there have been a variety of things that have changed, and so if a project sits on a shelf for 10 years, we have to refresh it, and there's a cost to doing that from a design side. When an architect or an engineer of record has to redesign, there's a cost to that. So to move ahead with design, I felt it was important to have a discussion with your board about construction funding. The memo talks about a couple of common options that are available to local agencies. Pay-as-you-go, which is funding that we have. We have other options of grants or state or federal funding, but the point that I'm bringing up here is that there's no funding that's specifically earmarked, allocated, appropriated for construction. We do have funding for design to complete the project through full design, and so that while that's good, it's certainly important that we consider the construction funding. We did take this project, gave an update very similar to this to the Space Committee. That was not referenced in the memo, and I apologize for that. But the Space Committee did recommend coming to the board in this fashion with a recommendation to move ahead with design and directing staff to look at options for funding for construction. So that summarizes both the A and the B. Included with that agenda packet is the draft agreement, draft amendment, excuse me, to Dewberry Architects' current agreement, so that we can proceed with design all the way up into construction. So that was prepared in consideration if the board were to approve moving forward. So happy to answer any questions, either myself on the kind of the design side, Under Sheriff Bingham for the operational, and certainly admin with Stephen Carter, who's been heavily involved with this on all aspects of it. So with that, I'll answer any questions.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Supervisor Pyska.
So moving ahead and pay as we go and trying to get through this next design phase, how much of that will draw down the ARPA funding?
Go ahead. Okay, the amendment is, I believe, and I have it here, it's about 1.3 million, I think, is the amendment. So combining that with the initial contract of 400,000 or so would be about 1.7 out of ARPA. There are some other options if we were to progress with design, bringing on a construction management firm. If we anticipate going to construction in the near future, there's a big benefit in a project like this to bring on a construction management firm at the early stages of design, so there could be some cost there as well. I don't have any cost estimates for that, though I typically for a construction management firm, we'd be looking at somewhere in the 10% range. So for a $20 million cost estimate, which is what we have for
for an estimate of probable construction costs. Just doing some quick math, we're looking at about $2 million for that. So hopefully that helps.
So that was it 4 million that we have for our 3?
3 million.
Okay, because we've got to draw that down and encumber it by December, so that's 9 months.
Sure.
So,
Yep. And that was one of the thoughts with the construction management funding.
okay.
Any other questions?
I'd like to hear.
No, I'm here to answer any questions, basically, since that's.
Supervisor Simon?
Yep, just wanted to acknowledge that we did have a presentation at the Space Committee, and obviously, I can't speak for all Space Committee members, but obviously was in complete support of moving forward with the design project. Also brought up in that time and Lars hit on it, kind of pay as you go. I think this is a unique opportunity for the county to look at financing a overall project here. I don't think we've ever done that as a county for something like this, whether it's GSFA. I know that we had a presentation here for large infrastructure projects. I think it would be a unique opportunity to look at this. The Armory not only represents moving forward in the county doing a big project, but it also will open up other space throughout the county as the courthouse is being built also. I just think it's a unique opportunity to really take some steps forward for Lake County and look at that financing stuff. So I did bring that up at the committee. Don't know how it gets done, but I would really like to see if there's a project that we could focus on to get the thing done. I know that brings in long-term debt, but also gives you an opportunity to take that first in that direction for large projects instead of having to wait, ask for grant funds, find, different areas. And so I just wanted to make that comment. But in complete support of moving forward with the design phase stuff today and looking to really get the financing for this.
Thank you. Supervisor Green?
Yeah, obviously supportive of this moving forward, but I share my colleagues' comments here. It's more of a question, and we can talk about it later, but if debt financing was a third rail to prior boards for whatever reason, I'd invite a fresh examination with this board. I don't see how we can punch this through without a very sober consideration of debt financing. So let's go ahead and get the design tidied up. But I think there is a larger question that you raise adequately in the memo. And just like Supervisor Simon, I'm very open to all alternatives that would move this project forward.
Thank you.
Can I say, okay.
Please.
So we do plan on, and I've already talked to Patrick, so it's no surprise. We do plan on talking to the Patrick and Genevieve related to debt servicing on what the possibilities are and if we have an appetite for it. We do already have around $6 million budgeted, so it's not like we're coming from it from scratch. We would have to look into it a lot before June and September is the real budget where we would know for sure whether we need debt financing or another method like pay-as-you-go. But there are options to make it work. It just may have to be phased instead of all at once. And that's what we'll work through and come back to you guys with our final recommendation.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think we need to follow through and finish the design. This was something that we wanted to, there's so many reasons to have it. The efficiency of all of those divisions all in one area. We've dealt with fires where there was that separation. We don't want that separation. And there's a reason why we requested the building, and we need to follow through with that. What I'm hoping for is that as we finish the design, we can maybe have phases of which are the priority things that can be built to try and decrease the cost of the first time. And it's not just the second phase is the mezzanine. The second phase is maybe something else also that's not a priority within the building. I don't know what that might be, but that would be great to see multiple phases, maybe even more than 2. One of my concerns overall, and that I'm hoping is part of the overall design, I just haven't asked and I haven't seen it, is the energy required for that building is going to be pretty large, substantial, and I'm really hoping that we are putting in the resources to have the solar panels, the battery backup, and all that other stuff that can ensure to reduce the long-term cost, not just the upfront cost of making that building be operational. But I think we have to follow through and continue. And the $6 million that you mentioned, that's inclusive of all the congressional community project funding that we've received as well?
No, because that's for the EOC only.
The EOC only, but that's
Not in this
Yeah,
building.
no, it's a separate building. Okay. Tough to talk about where we can find the resources in the status of where our state finds itself. I'm not sure that I'm a fan of debt service in a potentially downhill economic turn for the state, because you never know how that will impact the overall funding available for the counties, especially ourselves. But I think anything should be open and available to us and put on the table for us to make the decision of what the best way is to move forward, but we can't move forward without finishing that design first and foremost. So happy to move forward with that today. Anything further before I open up for public comment? Anything further from the presenters or Mr. Carter? All right, open it up for public comment on this item. Anyone wish to speak on this item, please come up to the microphone.
Joan Moss. What I want to know is what has been publicly said. I heard a new courthouse being built. I want to know what is public record about the new courthouse. I know it's in Shonda Harry's campaign literature. What has been said in public about the new courthouse that is being built, and where are the funds coming from?
So that is a vastly different item. It is not related.
It was mentioned in this item, and that's why I'm asking.
I don't remember it being mentioned in this item.
It was mentioned.
So, Joan, the courthouse is a state project, not a county project, and this is absolutely 100% a county project for the sheriff's department and has nothing to do with the courts. So two separate items at this moment.
I'll just acknowledge I did say courthouse is being built. I did say, because I was thinking the domino effect, so. Yep.
Thank you for the clarification. Any further public comment on this item? All right, bringing it back to the board.
So we just have one motion to approve amendment to the agreement between the County of Lake and Dewberry Architects, Inc. for architectural engineering, design services for a revised amount of $1,324,455.00 and authorize the chair to sign.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. We have Mr. Sullivan here, so let's go ahead and take up item 7.10. And Ms. Martinez? Consideration of the distribution of excess proceeds in the amount of $1,346,589.30 from tax defaulted tax sale number 160, held May 27, 2022, per R&T Code 4675. Mr. Sullivan.
Good morning, Board. Thank you for the opportunity to present this today. I'm going to turn this presentation over to Assistant Treasurer Tax Collector Liz Martinez. She managed these claims and prepared this report.
Good morning, Board. So we're coming to the Board today to, we have reviewed these claims that were submitted for tax sale 160. So we're just here to get your approval to distribute these funds. So $880,000 are actual claims that will be going out to people who have a legal interest in these properties that were sold. The remaining amount will actually be transferred to the general fund as unclaimed excess proceeds.
And just, I know it's on the paperwork and the documents, but the remaining amount is?
It's approximately $500,000.
Thank you very much. Any comments or questions regarding this?
Yes.
Vice Chair?
Yes, just a question about excess proceeds. I think you all have been approached by some HOAs or POAs in this manner. I just wanted to see if there's a way, if there's something that we need to identify that these agencies do moving forward to get the amount that they're asking for, or if you have any comment on some of that dialogue that's taken place.
So some of the issues that maybe have come up with HOAs and private agencies is that they're not filing liens. So in order for these excess proceeds to be claimed, they have to have a lien recorded prior to the sale of the properties.
So they need to have a lien filed with the county?
Correct. It
Okay.
has to be recorded with the county recorder's office.
So if they file their lien internally or something, you're not, the county doesn't recognize that. So maybe that's what happened in these other situations, or?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't know if there's a specific
Oh,
one.
I think it's Double Eagle as one of them, a Double Eagle.
Oh, correct. Yeah, so there was no lien recorded for that.
Okay.
And I did talk to them about that. So I did explain to them the process going forward, what they would need to do in order to file those claims, to be able to be eligible to file.
And I would say that's a continual issue, a continuing issue with a lot of these claims, is that there are people who believe there's money owed to them, but prior to the tax sale, they have not gone to court and been awarded a judgment, or they haven't recorded any kind of formal lien. So they have evidence, perhaps, that they believe someone owes them the money and that they seek to claim it from that property, but they've never taken those additional steps. And I think sometimes people think what they've done is enough, but it isn't. And where we can, we've definitely tried to let people know what we're looking for so that in the future they can fix it. And the HOAs, I have done some additional outreach with Hidden Valley, for instance, just to help clarify some things.
Thank you for doing that. I think the continued, just education and dialogue will help. And if I'll come touch base with you, so because I have quite a bit in mind. I think we all have HOAs and POAs. We can probably do some of these at the advisory committees or whatever, things like that, so we can ensure they know what to do before they come forward, and not miss out on this money, because I know they all have these issues in their POAs where they're not able to collect. So.
Yeah, and one of the things to clarify, so we have to hold these excess proceeds for a year, and then we review the claims. So what's unfortunate about that is, at that time when we know that there's nothing recorded, they can't then go to the recorder's office and record because it's already been after the sale.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions? I do think that there are some other situations that make it even more, that can make it difficult to understand the process, especially when you have a reduced amount because it's the second time that you're putting the property on the tax sale, where you're not putting all of the liens or all of the direct charges or all of the back taxes and fees and so on and so forth. That reduction, I think there, please correct me, there's an order of who gets to get claims first, and there's an order of who is going to receive, and then there's what's left over. Can you please?
So there's a priority. So whoever records basically the lien first gets first priority, and then if there's anything left over, we go to the next person and so on. Then it could be the previous owner if there's anything left.
And so when we reduce on the second time around of going on a tax auction, it may eliminate some folks at the bottom of the list, because those at the top who claim first might only get what was available.
Well, typically with the deficit sale, you're not going to have excess proceeds.
Or you may not have anything to claim.
Exactly. So that's usually not an issue with regards to that. There's usually not. So it has to be more than $150. And if it's a deficit sale, you're not going to have excess proceeds to distribute.
Yeah, there's definitely, and I agree with my colleague, the education of it. There's so many different scenarios. What I do want to share is the appreciation of your timeline. And this is a tax sale that occurred in 2022. The last date of the final claim was August 30th, 2023. And for us to have this in front of us, appreciate your timelines and keeping it as quickly as possible so that we can get these funds put into the general fund and into the hands of those that have interest in the properties. That is absolutely appreciated, so thank you. Any further comments or questions? I'm going to open it up for the public comment. And I have an individual named One. You can please provide your name, and you have 3 minutes.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Angela Amaral. I'm calling from Double Eagle Ranch. And yes, so Double Eagle Ranch feels that we did our due diligence before the tax auction in 2022. We verified that we had a lien prior to the tax auction. We checked with the tax collector. And the issue is that for us, a lien was filed in 2013. Now, these are for annual dues. So they accrue every year. So we went and verified with the tax collector's office if we needed to file a new lien. We were told that we didn't, that at the end of the tax auction, we would just file a claim for excess proceeds, which we did. Now, the other concern is that liens on tax defaulted properties, when they go up for auction, the opening bid amount is just what's owed to the county, which I understand. But it blocks people that have liens from being able to be included in that. Now, when a property sells at an auction, all the liens get wiped from the property, and we lose out on being able to collect those once it goes through the auction process. So if we can get some clarification on how we can avoid this in the future. From what I'm understanding at this point, it has to be a current lien at the time of the auction. Is that correct? If you can clarify that. And then also, yeah, I guess that would be it. If we can just get some clarification on what we need to do to make sure that this does not happen again, because we're losing almost $4,000 in this tax auction because of this. So thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Mr. Sullivan or Ms. Martinez, if you want to respond.
Yeah, I think an important point to highlight is that the tax sale, the auction process is typically the sale of last resort. It's likely the process everyone should seek to avoid when doing this. If a private party sale can occur, that's often preferable. The tax sale has different considerations. Even the deed that's produced at the end is often, that tax deed represents a problem for future financing. A lot of lenders won't work with them. So one thought is that often interested parties seek other outcomes before the sale occurs. HOAs have the ability to do foreclosures on their own and go after those proceeds before it gets to us. They could foreclose on the property rather than it going to the tax sale. Just traditionally, tax sales often produce the lowest amount of proceeds. It's a deeply discounted price. It's cash offers with that potential cloud over the title. So typically, this is the type of sale that is going to produce the lowest amount of revenue. So if someone has liens on a property and really wants to protect them, I would often advise not to let it get to the tax sale. They may want to take action beforehand. The other issue I'd say is many of the properties we have, especially in outlying areas, there can be liens from HOAs on it. There can be code enforcement fines. Often the number of liens and the amount of money at stake there is already more than the value of property, even in a standard foreclosure or even in an arm's length transaction for a sale. So I think it's just once this debt piles up, the odds of everyone getting their money are just a lot lower. And I don't know if Ms. Martinez, you have anything to add?
No.
Okay.
That's good.
Thank you for that. I see no other hands up. Did you?
No.
I see no further hands up. Nobody in the chamber coming up to the microphone, so I'm going to close public comment. Any comments or questions from board members? And if we're ready, take action.
I'll move to approve the distribution of excess proceeds in the amount of $1,346,589.30 from tax defaulted sale, tax sale number 160 held May 27, 2022 per Revenue and Tax Code 4675.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and take up item 7.2, consideration of letter of support for congressionally directed spending request for Adventist Health. And Supervisor Pyska, would you like to speak on that one and introduce it?
We were contacted by Adventist for this letter of support for the purchasing and operating of a mobile health unit for Lake County. And so this is one of the congressionally directed spending requests that goes to the Senate. Usually we have these requests go through our go through Congressman Thompson, so this is a little bit of a different request, but this is definitely going to be something that's going to benefit our county. So I think offering this letter of support will help move that along forward.
Thank you very much. Are there any comments or questions regarding this letter? Supervisor Green.
Yeah, thank you. I'm generally supportive, but nothing presented here that gives me even an outline of what their proposal is. So I see referenced in the staff report they plan to apply for funding for a mobile health care unit, but that's about what I got. So I was wondering if anybody could flesh out some of the details of that grant request.
So the details of what's in the mobile unit, I do not have those details, other that this is to provide services that are necessary in rural, hard-to-reach areas. This is a multi-county request by Adventist Health to cover 3 counties. I believe it's Colusa, Tehama, and here. Am I correct? I apologize that I don't remember the 3 original. It's on the, it was in our request. But it will have Lake involved in that. And again, this is a senatorial request, and typically senatorial requests are regional rather than specific to a county in order to get those approvals through at the federal level. But again, this is to provide a mobile unit to provide health care to hard-to-reach areas, or maybe those that are bedbound in areas that, again, cannot access the healthcare facilities that are available to the rest of us. And so this would be an added bonus and benefit to what healthcare provision is already available.
And while I appreciate the verbal summation of what the grant request is, I don't see the grant request in front of me, so my vote will reflect that.
All right. Thank you for your comments. Anything further from board members? Let's open it up for public comment. Any public comment? I see none in the room and none in Zoom. Bringing it back for board action.
I move that we approve the letter of support for congressionally directed spending requests for Adventist Health.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Motion carries. Okay, our next item is at 11:15. Let's go ahead and take a 7-minute break, and we will reconvene at 11:15 with Water Resources. All right, let's go ahead and continue from where we left off. We are on our timed item, 11:15 a.m., 6.8. Hearing on account and proposed assessment for 7129 East State Highway 20, Lucerne, California, APN 006023-02. And we have our Water Resources Coordinator, Mitchell?
Yes.
Mitchell. Please.
All right. Good morning, Board. My name is Mitchell Breedlove. I'm a Water Resources Program Coordinator with the County of Lake. I'm responsible for lake bed management within the department. Today we are here for a hearing on account.
If you can get a little closer to the microphone, you can just move it right to you.
And Mr. Chair, since this is a public hearing, typically at the onset, if representatives from Water Resources would...
Thank you for the reminder.
It would be swearing in under oath for any witnesses from either side may be available.
If there are any, if there's anyone that wishes to speak on this item and provide testimony that's on Zoom, please raise your hand so we can go ahead and unmute you. Okay, so it would just be our staff member.
Your right hand raised. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning, Board. My name is Mitchell Breedlove. I'm a Lake County Water Resources Program Coordinator. Within the department, I'm responsible for lake bed management. Today we are here for a hearing on account and proposed assessment. Upon completion of an abatement which happened on the subject property 7129 East State Highway 20, Lucerne, California, 95458, we were required to give an account and proposed assessment for the work that had been conducted, and if approved by the board, will be recorded as a lien against the property. So on this slide, we have a vicinity map. The owner on title is Edward Chernow. The property location is 7129 East State Highway 20, Lucerne, California, 95458. That is an APN of 006-023-02. The zoning for this property is an R1, single-family residential, and it is an improved parcel with a dwelling and lake bed structure. On January 21st, 2021, the property was found to be in violation of the Lake County Code and lake bed encroachment lease. The lake bed improvement was in a dilapidated state consisting of broken or missing planks, pilings, scattered debris. Pieces of the lake bed structure were actively falling into the lake. These issues violated both the Lake County Code, Chapter 23, Shoreline Ordinance, Section 13.2, Maintenance, Repair, and Removal of Improvements. These issues also violated the lake bed encroachment lease, Section 13, Maintenance and Repair, signed by the owner for encroachment upon the public trust lands of Clear Lake. A violation letter was sent to the property owner via certified mail on May 18th, 2021 to notify the owner of the existing issues and giving them time to remedy those issues. By September 28th, 2021, no progress had been made to come into compliance, and as such, a notice of nuisance in order to abate was posted on the property and sent to the owner via certified mail on November 16th, 2022. We'll move on to the next slide. On this slide, we have our initial investigation, which happened on January 21st, 2021, between the hours of 8:30 and 10:30 a.m. Above are the photos taken on the site during the initial investigation. As you can see, the structure was falling into the lake. There are a number of piles that were broken or missing, and there was no way to safely access this structure. As a result, it was posing a safety, water quality, and potential navigational hazard. I would like to note that Clear Lake provides drinking water to 60% of the residents of Lake County. It provides endless recreational opportunities to its visitors, residents, and it harbors our listed threatened species of fish, the Clear Lake hitch, and is culturally significant to our indigenous communities. We did try to contact the owner on record, Edward Chernow, multiple times and received no reply or further contact over the 2-year period from the initial violation letter in May 2021 till the abatement was conducted in May of 2023. Upon the findings from the initial investigation, a determination was made to move forward with the abatement due to the issues persisting on the property and the owner not being able to or willing to contact our department in regards to the issues. We requested an inspection and abatement warrant that was issued by the County of Lake Superior Court Judge to allow our Class A marine contractors, which is Lake Marine, to be on site and abate the issues. I'd like to note that notice of this assessment for this hearing was mailed via certified mail on March 6, 2024, and we had no response. Next slide. On this slide, you can see the abatement, and it started on June 8, 2023. You can see our contractor, Lake Marine Construction, working to abate the issue and remove the remaining structure, which has fallen into the lake, and cutting out the remaining pilings. On this slide, we have the abatement completed on June 26, 2023, and we have on the left a before photo, and on the right we have an after photo. And this is taken in the northern direction. I would like to end the presentation for this with a recommendation to our board that on June 26, 2023, compliance with the notice of nuisance in order to abate issue was attained. The abatement costs for this were $24,900.00, and the administrative cost was $1,928.90. The staff is recommending the Board of Supervisors confirm the assessment of a total of $26,828.90 and direct staff to record a notice of lien against the property. After recordation, it shall be delivered to the county auditor, who shall enter the amount of the lien on the assessment roll as a special assessment. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your presentation. Any comments or questions regarding this item?
Yeah, I have a question, and sorry I didn't ask earlier. But I mean, this obviously great work getting the shoreline cleanup and these dilapidated structures. But were they paying their lake bed leases as well?
I believe, I would have to get back to you on that. I believe they were not in compliance with paying the lease.
Probably not. Okay, thanks.
I would like to note that this property has been in default on their taxes since I believe this one was 2019. I have two different ones. There's one in 2023 and one in 2019 that they've been in default.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. If nothing further, let's go ahead and open it up for public comment. Anyone wish to speak on this item? I see no hands in Zoom and no one coming to the mic, so I'm going to bring it back to the board for action.
Mr. Chair, sorry. I move to confirm the assessment of $26,828.90 and direct staff to record a notice of special assessment lien against the property. The cost of abatement services was $24,900. The administrative costs for this case are $1,928.90.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Let's go ahead and move on to the next item, our 11:30, just in time. 6.9, hearing on account and proposed assessment for 7119 East State Highway 20, Lucerne, California, APN 006-023-01. Mr. Breedlove.
All right. Do I need to be sworn in again?
It's a whole different situation.
Yeah, it's same owner, separate parcel.
Yeah. And again, if anybody here wishes to provide testimony that is on Zoom or in this chamber, please raise your hand. We will unmute you so that we can get your oath.
All right. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Good morning again. This one should go fairly quickly. It's basically the same thing. This property was adjacent to the previous item. Again, my name is Mitchell Breedlove. I'm a Water Resources Program Coordinator with the County of Lake, and I'm responsible for lake bed management. This hearing on account and proposed assessment is for a property subject of 7119 East State Highway 20, Lucerne, California, 95458. And attached here in our presentation is the vicinity map and the owner on title was Edward Chernow. Property location was 7119 East State Highway 20, Lucerne, California, 95458, an APN of 006-023-01. The zoning for this property was an R1 single-family residential, and it was with a improved parcel with a dwelling and lake bed structure. Again, on January 21st, 2021, the property was found to be in violation of the Lake County Code and lake bed encroachment lease. The lake bed improvement was in a dilapidated state, consisting of broken or missing planks, pilings, and scattered debris. Pieces of the lake bed structure were actively falling as well into the lake. These issues violated our Lake County Code Chapter 23 Shoreline Ordinance, Section 13.2, Maintenance, Repair, and Removal of Improvements, as well as our lake bed encroachment lease, Section 13, Maintenance and Repair. A violation letter was sent to the property owner via certified mail on May 18th, 2021, to notify the owner of the existing issues and give them time to remedy those issues. By September 28th, 2021, no progress had been made to come into compliance, and as such, a notice of nuisance in order to abate was posted on the property and sent to the owner via certified mail on November 16th, 2022. This slide is our initial investigation, which happened on January 21st, 2021, 8:30 to 10:30 a.m. Above are photos that were taken on that day during the initial investigation. As you can see, the structure was falling into the lake, and it was also not able to access safely. We did try to contact the owner, as well as in the previous one, to record multiple times. We received no reply or further contact over the 2 years leading from the initial violation letter, which was sent in May of 2021, until the abatement was conducted in May of 2023. Upon determination, it was made to move forward with the abatement due to the issues persisting on the property and the owner not being able to or willing to remedy the issues. We requested an inspection and abatement warrant that was issued by the County of Lake Superior Court Judge to allow our Class A marine contractors to be on site and abate the issues. As well as the previous one, this notice of assessment for hearing was mailed and certified on March 6, 2024, and there was no response. On this slide, you can see the abatement work happening. This was conducted as well on June 8th, 2023. Lake Marine Construction, who we are in contract with, worked to abate the issue and remove any of the remaining structure that was falling into the lake and otherwise serving a navigational hazard. On this slide, you can see our completed abatement, which was on June 26, 2023. On the left, you can see the before, and on the right, you can see the after. This photo is also taken in northern direction. I would like to end this presentation with our recommendation. On June 26, 2023, compliance with the notice of nuisance in order to abate issued was attained. The abatement costs were $23,500.00. The administrative cost was $1,928.85. Staff is recommending the Board of Supervisors confirm the assessment of $25,428.85 and direct staff to record a notice of lien against the property. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your presentation. Vice Chair Crandall.
Oh, no, this is from last night. I'll be ready to take action when we get public input.
Any other comments or questions? So I do have one question and a comment. First off, kudos to Lake Marine Construction for actually lifting up those two buildings without them crumbling. That's not what I would have expected from the before pictures. But the second one, we just had a presentation from our tax collector and kind of specifying what happens to liens, especially tax defaulted, and the priority list of who's there. Do you know if we have access or if we need to look at getting access to tax intercept capabilities to go after property owners rather than potentially doing a tax default sale and losing out on these funds that we used, public funds, for a private property to be cleaned up? Do we have access to tax intercept?
I don't have that answer for you at this time, but I can come back to you with that answer I'm not sure if we do have the authority to do that.
I know that we started it with code enforcement. I don't know if it would apply to water resources, but any way that we can collect the funds, I think that would benefit us to be able to have that revolving door of funds, but appreciate the cleanup. It's always a good thing to see. Anything further? Let's go ahead and open up for the public. Any public comment on this item? I see no hands in Zoom and no one getting up in the chamber, bringing it back to the board for action.
Mr. Chair, I move to confirm the assessment of $25,428.85 and direct staff to record a notice of special assessment lien against the property. Cost of abatement service was $23,500. The administrative cost for this case amounted to $1,928.85.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very
you
much
all.
for your presentations.
I don't think that one will have I don't think it'll have a problem selling on tax default, though. Shoreline.
All right. So we only have our calendars left and a couple timed items in the afternoon. Let's go ahead and do the calendars, and then we're going to take up two of our items in closed session, and then take a lunch break and come back at 1:30. So let's go ahead and start with our calendars. Who's ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
Starting with just finishing up today, but yesterday I had a unique meeting. There's a piece of property downtown, Middletown. I appreciated Ben Rickleman showing up, met with Sutter, who owns the property, talk about just get the conversation started on what's going on there. So I thought it was a great meeting. I know there's a lot of follow-up needs to happen very early in the conversations, but it is a prime piece of Middletown property right there. It's been undeveloped for probably 20 years, at least 18, something like that, right in town where the old, right across from the liquor store, in between Biasotti's, that open lot right there. So excited to have that conversation and see what could come out of it. So finish up today. Won't have anything on the agenda until Friday, at least that I see. And then obviously this weekend is Easter, so gonna enjoy that with the family and then be back here on Tuesday. Don't see anything, but all right, that's all I got.
Thank you very much. Supervisor Green?
Thanks. This past Saturday at Lakeport Senior Center, Lake County Literacy Coalition hosted a very successful fundraiser event. Power bingo for everybody. I was lucky enough to purchase a $100 hot dog, and it was great. And it was great to see people coming out and really coming together to support a good cause, and looking forward to seeing that again next year. Last night, I met with Scotts Valley Community Advisory Council, got a good presentation from Terry Logsdon. They're excited about coming to the Board of Supervisors chambers next month for the Lakeport Area Plan kickoff meeting. Tomorrow, have a meeting with a constituent. In the morning, have the shelter update Zoom. Looks like first 5 commission in the afternoon. Thursday, Chair Sabatier and I will be doing a little cleanup activity at the shelter or in the immediate vicinity, and I think the neighbors would be excited about that. And for whatever reason, my calendar looks pretty open after that.
Thank you very much. Supervisor Pyska?
Yes, tomorrow I am double booked at 10, but it looks like I'll be doing the Ag Advisory Committee meeting. And then I have a long afternoon with the NCO board meeting. And Thursday, I'll be on the Little Hoover Commission for the homeowners insurance market. I have the meet and greet with the health director, which I had to reschedule from last week. And then we have the recreation agency in the afternoon. And Friday, we have an internal meeting in the morning, and then I've got my appointment with Sutter. And then on Monday, I have my meeting with CAO Parker, and then the KBA is having their spring mixer that evening, and then back on Tuesday.
Thank you very much. Vice Chair Crandall?
So tomorrow's agenda review, Ag Advisory Committee meeting, then Thursday, LCRA. Let's see, Friday, I have some discussions and meetings at the office here with staff. Let's see, Saturday, of course, Easter egg hunts in the community, so I'll just go to those. Hopefully they don't make me dress up as the bunny. Let's see.
Pictures or it didn't happen.
Yeah. I always seem to dodge Santa Claus during Christmas, so let's see, Monday, CIO meeting, and then the Middle Creek Restoration meeting, and back here Tuesday, 4.
All right, thank you very much. At the end of today, I'm going to be joining the Sierra Club and presenting what we're working on the Food Policy Council. Tomorrow morning, agenda review, Lakeport Shelter update. Then I'll be joining the Fire Chiefs meeting that will be taking place over in Clear Lake at Station 70. There's a First 5 Lake Commission meeting as well. I'll be attending that. Will you be attending that, Supervisor Green?
I'm sorry?
The First 5 on Wednesday? I missed that during your, okay. Then I'll join in through Zoom. Then I have a meeting with Sutter as well to discuss the CHNA. The following morning, hopefully can make it to Judge's Breakfast. If not, I have a Hope Rising meeting. And then, as Supervisor Green mentioned, hoping to beat the rain and get out there and help clean up the neighboring areas to the shelter. Try to make it a little bit cleaner out there. Involved with some discussions with staff on Friday, and the also meeting to discuss roadmap task force with Vice Chair Crandall. And then continuing the discussions that was directed by us for the city, special districts, and the developer. We did meet on last Friday, and just continuing those discussions and seeing what's possible. I do know that I was invited for the Poet Laureate event that's happening this Saturday, but I have a family thing that I need to make sure and attend. But that will be happening, I think, at the Ripe Choice Farm. I was hoping to really get there, and if there's somebody that's able to go there, that's when the new Poet Laureate of this year will be crowned, I guess. Then Middle Creek has stated on Monday, and meeting with the CAO, and back here on Tuesday. And that closes up our calendars. And so we do have 5 items on our closed session. Item 8.3, we will not be taking up that item today. In this next upcoming closed session that we are going to immediately go into, we are going to take up items 8.4 and 8.5. And that will be conference with legal counsel, existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1, CPUC application 2209018, application of Pacific Gas and Electric Company and Pacific Generation LLC, U39E. And 8.5 is conference with legal counsel, existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1, CPUC application 2106021, application of Pacific Gas and Electric Company, U39M. And so we will go ahead and close our open session for now, go into closed session for those 2 items, and we will return to open session at 1:30 p.m. Thank you, everyone.